we've just heard that the Department of Water and Sanitation will establish a team to determine the root cause of the cholera outbreak in Hammanskraal. Now, that area and its surroundings have been plagued by water challenges for years now, and the reality is South Africa's water challenges are complex. They're not likely to be solved overnight. Let's now bring in someone who will help us understand what the issues are and what can be done now. Dr. Ferrial Adam, who's the Executive Manager at Watercan. Dr. Adam, thank you for making time for us this afternoon. How polluted are our rivers?
I think we have very high levels of pollution. There was an article a few years ago by the Mail and Guardian that estimated that we have about 50,000 liters of sewage flowing into our rivers per second. And that is not including the pollution that we're experiencing from industry, mining, pharmaceuticals, agriculture. So we have quite a concern about the state of our rivers in South Africa.
Mm-hmm. And just help our viewers understand the link between the health hazards and our rivers being polluted and filthy.
So I think we use sewage as an indicator. So if you find, high levels of E. coli in your rivers, it's an indicator that the water has not been treated well and that there could be other pathogens like hepatitis, and now we're seeing cholera. So it has a direct link, even with E. coli. If people are exposed to drinking water that has high levels of E. coli, they will also get sick. They'll also have diarrhea. So there's a direct impact to our health. But also to add, for small-scale farmers who are using that polluted water on their crops, you are then also infecting the crops. So it becomes a food intake, it becomes water intake, and it all impacts on health.
Mm-hmm. There have been so many delays, Dr. Adam, with repairing and upgrading the Rooiwal wastewater treatment works to improve the quality of water in Hammanskraal. And I know this is not a quick fix, but the residents in Hammanskraal have been faced with this issue for about 16 years or so now. Someone is clearly not doing their job.
Absolutely. In fact, Watercan is an initiative of the organization Undoing Tax Abuse. And we had been involved as well with the Hammanskraal issue and Residents Association. And there was a state of disaster declared where a particular fund was set up to fix the Rooiwal's water treatment plant. And I think up until today, that hasn't been done. We've just been sent invoices where we've seen that the cost of things are doubled. So there's definitely a level of corruption, and there's mismanagement of funds as well. But yeah, it's a concerning issue. And I think what is happening in Hammanskraal is an indicator of things that are happening across the country. Yeah.
What do you think needs to be done? And since 2019, the Human Rights Commission, through that report that they commissioned with the CSIR, they said the water in Hammanskraal is not fit for consumption. To this day, this is an ongoing problem. What are the authorities not getting right?
So I think until we don't hold people accountable, these kind of issues are going to continue. So if we go and we lay charges with the municipality, or municipalities have to fork out money, it's citizens' money, it's taxpayers' money, and people still have their jobs and they carry on doing what they're doing. But until we don't hold people accountable, arrest them, charge them, dismiss them for not doing their jobs, then this is going to continue. So we have to take a really hard position on this. And with the issue in Hammanskraal, we've lost people and children. So we can't just let this fly by. Yeah.
What kind of pressure do you think different stakeholders need to put here on the government? Because this happens a lot, Dr. Adam. You know about the Marikana massacre. You know about other tragedies that have happened where people have died, whether they're falling into sinkholes. And there's just never accountability whatsoever from government. What kind of pressure do you think needs to be put so that someone is held accountable? If it's established that these people have died because of water that's contaminated, that really lies squarely at the door of these politicians who have been, not only the DA that's running Tshwane now, but even the ANC that was there before, because this is an issue that predates this current administration.
I mean, absolutely. You're so right. I mean, we need to have, so there's a few things that must be done. One is, there are examples globally of class actions where there have been high levels of pollution and people have been, injured or they ill or they pass on. And it's when communities come together and actually have a class action against the municipality or the person. So I'm not saying municipality, but mayor, have a class action against the mayor. Charges must be brought against all those people who are supposed to be supplying the water and not doing it, or they must lose their jobs. People are not, and until that happens, and in South Africa as well, when we have gone and it's been specific people that have been held accountable, like if you look at Life Isidimini, it was a specific person that was held accountable. And when we do that, we see change. Until we don't have names that we can say this person is responsible, we can have as many command centers as I heard the Deputy Minister talking about, or, commissions. We're not going to get anywhere. We're still going to have pollution of water and high levels of sewage flowing into our rivers and streams.
Yeah. What work is being done to safeguard our waterways?
You mean in terms of government's role or
just government's role? Government's role, and is there a role that civil society can play?
So there's not enough being done. If you look at our wastewater treatment works, more than 60% of them are critical or like basically functioning. And that is a concern. There's not enough skilled people, there's not enough chemicals, there's not enough testing being done. And the wastewater treatment works are just falling apart. Some of them are so old that we need new ones, but there's no funding for it. So if you ask me what government is doing, I would say they're not doing enough. We've been talking about this issue for a long time. Last year they released the Green Drop report, which is all, it's in there and it talks about how badly our wastewater treatment works are doing. But we don't treat it with urgency.
Yeah.
And that is the concern. So don't wait for us to lose people's lives or people to lose their lives before you have a command center, before you have a commission, before you all get involved. This is happening across the country. We're seeing it in the Free State. We're seeing it in Hammanskraal and City of Joburg as well. The Department of Water and Sanitation has issued a directive against the City of Joburg for similar issues of wastewater treatment works failing and sewage flowing into rivers and streams. So let's not wait for people to be affected health-wise. We need to act now. And government needs to act with urgency.
Yeah, it is just so sad, Dr. Adam, that's exactly what government did. They waited for people to die, because this command center is only being set up now that 15 people have died. But the same issues have been raised over the last 16 years, and government has been very much aware, and I don't remember them setting up any command center. Let me thank you for making time for us, Dr. Ferrial Adam, who is joining us to talk about just the quality of our waters and also accountability, which is so important when it comes to these matters.